Release the Kraken!
Alright, and welcome back. In our last tutorial, we went ahead and made the transition from our finishing screen, or our winning screen, to our second level. In this one, we're going to go ahead and do what happens when we fall off the map and restart. Before we get into that, I do want to mention that my channel is going to be moving to the Lame Duck Studios channel, so I'm going to gradually start moving the videos over there, and you'll start seeing the intro for that. Just kind of wanted to put that out there so you guys aren't like, where are you going? Still me. I'm just kind of moving it over to there. So if you wouldn't mind heading over there, and if you like the stuff that I'm making, hit that like button and subscribe over there, because this thing's just going to kind of move that way. So anyway, so I'm going to go back. We're in here now. Let's open up. We have level 1. We have our details. Let's go up to Window, come down to World Settings. And now that we have more than one map, it's important to make sure that the map is running the correct game mode. So we did set up the game mode in our project settings previously, but because we have more than one map now, if you look over for game mode settings here, you'll see there's nothing loaded. The reason that's running that way is in our project settings, if I open that up, maps and modes, it is running a default game mode. This is the game mode the game will default to if no other game mode is present. Well, just in case I decide to change the game mode or do something different later, it's a good idea to make sure we're in the correct game mode. So I'm going to hit the drop down and just hit game mode for my runner, and that should come in with the player and everything. And I'll save that. I'm going to open up my level 2, do the same thing, because level 2 doesn't have the game mode either. So I'm going to do level 2 game mode. So runner game mode for that. Save it. Jump back in. So let's go back into our widget. So here's our widget. So now we can load the level, and we have level 2. But there's a problem. If we're in level 2 and we get prompted to go to the next level, in programming we call it a magic number, but this is really a magic word. We physically wrote the number here, or wrote the next level here. So if we were to try to hit that button in level 2, it would just take us back to level 2. And we don't want that. We want this to go to whatever the real next level is. So we need to save that into a variable, but we want to save it into a variable that is not going to disappear. And the only thing that we have at the moment that doesn't disappear is our player. So we're going to set it inside of player. You can, of course, set up a game state that holds all your variables, but we're not going to do that today. I'm going to open up player, and I'm going to create a variable called current level. So current level. And I'm going to change the type to a name type. And then I'm going to do another one. This one's going to be next level. Next level. Okay, go ahead and compile. And then I'm going to go to the blueprint for our level. So here, open level blueprint. And we have this for our ending the game logic. So I'm going to go ahead and just highlight that. And then put a little box around it, so press the C key. It'll drop you a comment box. And this is win the game. And then up here, I'll make a comment box, press the C key. This is going to be update level. So all I'm going to do here is the moment we enter level 1, it's just going to update what level we're currently at. So we're going to do a begin play. So begin play. So event begin play. And then in here, I'm going to set my variable. So I actually have to call it from the player. So cast to player. And the reason I have to cast to my player, and again I have to get my player object, so get player pawn. The reason I have to grab this is this is where I'm currently storing that variable. Right? So we're going to cast the player, and I'm going to get from there, let's see, set current level. Plug that in. Current level is going to be level 1 in this case. And then I'm going to set my next level. So drag off from player, set next level. And there's a more sophisticated way to do this, but we're trying to keep it simple. I'm just going to go ahead and bend that around so we know. Again, that's just double clicking on the wire. And then this is going to be level 2. And then we'll do the same thing inside of level 2, except level 2's current will be level 2, and level 2's next would be level 3, and so on and so forth. So I'll compile that, save it. I'm going to go back to my widget, and here I'm going to cast to my player. So I can get that variable. Get my player pawn, because it needs to know what object. And again, if that bothers you, we can just move this over. And then from here, instead of getting the level 2, I'm going to go ahead and get next level. So get next level, that gets it from the player, right there. So now it's no longer a magical number. It will update as we go. So now that we should be able to end the game and go to the next level. So let's go ahead and try that, test everything out. Bink. And bam, level complete. Yay. Next level. Level 2, right? Awesome. Let's make the thing that happens if we fall off the level. So in this case, I'm going to kind of zoom out here. I'm going to drag in another trigger volume. So over to the left, I'll grab my volumes, come down. There is a kill zone option. Kill zone will just destroy your character. In this case, we're actually using our character to hold some variables, and that would not be good for us, because the moment our character dies, it would just kick us out of the game, and like the game would just crash. Or it would destroy the player, but you would be kind of floating in limbo in game space, which isn't fun either. So we're going to go down to trigger volume. I'm going to bring this in. Details. Let's go ahead and name this death trigger. That way I know it's a trigger volume and it causes death. I'll center it by hitting 0, 0, 0 in the location. 0, 0, 0. And then I want this to be big enough to cover the level and be wide enough so that we can't accidentally jump outside of it. So for that to work, let's move this down about yay far. Doesn't really matter how far, just far enough. So you can fall for a little bit, and then you don't want to fall for too long because then the player would get bored. So you just want them to fall far enough and then end up dying. We're going to make this plenty big. Let's do, for the Y, let's do 20,000. That should cover any possibility of us falling out of the level. If it's too big for you, you can go down to 10,000. But 10,000, you could possibly jump out, right? So like if you got enough momentum and you kick sideways, you could jump all the way out. We don't want that. So I think 20,000 is good. I did 200 a second ago, so cool, good enough. And then I'm going to do the depth of this. Since I don't really know what the depth is, I'm going to go to my top view here. So from perspective, I'll go to top. And then, where are we at? There it is. I'm going to move this. Oof, wrong one. I'm going to move this about center of my level. Hit the R key to scale it, or you can grab scale from here. Again, you can also toggle the spacebar. And I'll just drag the scale out. Let's adjust my scale snaps. We can't really go backwards, but we do want to make sure that we can't fall too far forward. So if we're launching fast enough, we could potentially overplay this. So I want to make sure it's long enough or it goes out far enough that we can't miss it. So I guess I will size it up. Ooh, that's a little bit too much. Drop that back down. Then I'll just move it a tad more, because again, we can't go backwards, so it's fine. And that's pretty good. We have our kill zone. Go back to my perspective, so top view, perspective. This doesn't have to be very thick. The moment we hit it, it's going to count. So I'm going to have this select the kill zone. Blueprints up here, and then open level blueprint again. And then I'm going to do right click on actor begin overlap. Here's that. And all I'm going to do is copy this logic. So I'm going to just drag a selection box over this, and then Control W will spawn a new copy of everything. So it's the exact same logic, it's just a different overlap that's triggering it. So this overlap will trigger. Again, we don't want anything else to trigger it, so just our character. It's going to stop us from moving, it's going to disable input, physics will turn off, and we're going to cast a different widget this time, and then everything else is going to be the same. And I'll wrap this in a container or a comment, so press the C key. This is going to be lose the game. So there's that. We can compile and save. Oh, make sure we're hitting save all, not the save button. Save button only does the last thing you did. Okay. So if we hit that, it will send us out. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Oh no, I fell off. Bam. Except we don't want it to be level complete. We want it to say level failed, and then it'll restart the level. So I'm going to hit it quit. So open up our widget, or sorry, go back to system. So blueprint, system. I'm going to select my widget here. I'm going to duplicate it. So right click, duplicate. And this is going to be my game over widget. So game over. Okay, open up the game over widget. And in here, we're just going to change the text. So this is going to be, mission failed, or level failed, or game over, or you died, get good scrub, whatever you want it to be. So for fun, get good scrub. Oof. Right. So there's my game over compile. Center that back up. I'm going to go to my next level button. Go ahead and select the text. So in the window here, you can grab it by just clicking on it, or you can grab it in the left window here. And this is going to be restart level, or you can say replay level. So I'm going to do restart level. And that's bigger than my button, so I will have to adjust my button size. And I'll center that back up. Sometimes it can be a pain to click on. If you find that you can't click on your button because the text is in the way, come over to the left, select your text, just go ahead and hit the lock. That'll prevent you from grabbing your text. And now you can just grab the button. Close enough. I changed the name of the text, but let's go ahead and change the name of the button. So select the button up the top here. We're going to go and call that restart. That way it just makes sense in our logic. So now it says restart. That says restart there. And then down here, instead of calling the next level, we're going to call the current level. So the current level is going to be whatever level we're currently in. So get current level. Plug that in. Save it. So we set the widget up, but we did not tell it to run the correct widget. So let's go back to the level blueprint. So blueprints, level blueprint. And then in our lose game piece of logic, kind of zoom in here. And then it's currently running the game win. Let's go ahead and change that to the game over. Compile it. And we'll try it again this time. So now if I jump over, oh no, get good scrub, oof, and then you can just hit restart level, and it'll drop us back in. Yeah, so that's a very quick way of doing some level design. Oh no, I'm gonna die. Get good scrub, oof, and then restart. Check that out. That's a quick way of doing level design. That's level 1. Level 2 won't take as quite as long because we did a bunch of stuff in here. But go ahead and save your work, and I will see you in the next video.